Ito nalimot. Siya rabay una. Oh, ito piso. Mute. Asan eh? Anong glass? Wala dyan na off. Sir Dad, itong drag ako.
This is a great day for all of us, celebrating the National Book Week celebration. The 86th year, can you imagine that? Almost like 100 years. And so, of this celebration, it's like as old as the library here. We are reaching out to you virtually from the Robert B. and Mita J. Silliman Library. Yes, right here on Silliman University campus. So, without much ado in this celebration, this is an extemporaneous speaking contest. Yes, all the way from the campus, you will get to see some students finally. For many of you, you've been longing to see them walking around the campus, but this time you get to see them. One of them is even from the US, and you'll see him at home speaking to all of us. So welcome to the extemporaneous speaking competition. And to start with, let's call on the presence of our Lord through the Reverend Arnold Fowler, actually a resident archivist of the United Church of Christ in the Philippines, right here in this library.
Okay, let us pray. O Lord, our God, we thank you for this lesson afternoon that you have brought us together in this online celebration of National Book Week. Bless us with your wisdom, especially the participants in this extemporaneous speaking, that they may become your instrument of goodwill in this challenging time. Thank you for this community that in spite of our diversity, we are always filled with hope that you are working in us to be able to enjoy life in this beautiful world. As an expression of our gratitude to all your goodness, we commit once again ourselves to be responsive and sensitive with each other, to restore our nation from its fragments brought by natural calamities and even human pride. This we ask in Christ's name, our Savior. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Joining us in this celebration is our university librarian to give us the formal welcome. So let's a big round of applause. Yes, virtually you can do that to Dr. Myra E. Villanueva.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, thank you. In today's digital world, where information can be accessed everywhere, anywhere, and in various platforms, is library still essential? Are librarians still needed? What do you think? Today's activity is part of our celebration of the 86th National Book Week with the theme, Libraries as Catalysts of the New Normal Environment, Changes, Reforms, and Transformation. According to David Lonks, a 21st century librarian must see their profession as a chance to make a positive difference in their communities. Librarians who recognize that it is no longer enough to stand behind a desk waiting to serve. Librarians should see this change, reform, and transformation in the library as an opportunity to become an agent of change. To become one, we must change our mindset. Let's welcome discomfort to grow personally and professionally. For librarians to become relevant in today's digital environment, it is essential to take action and be part of this change, reform, and transformation in the library. In Silliman University Library System, we face this crisis as a team. That's why we are able to deliver our virtual library services to the Silliman community as we face the new normal. To our board of judges, thank you so much for sharing your precious time and talent in determining today's contest best speaker. To our contestant, thank you for taking the challenge and be one of our honored guests today, because without you responding to our call, this activity will be in vain. And to our audience, and I would like to shout out Dr. Lily. She's there. She is here, the IRS director. And any, I cannot see all of the participants or audience. So, hello everyone, and thank you for taking time and supporting once again the activity of the library. To all of you, welcome and may God bless us all. Thank
Oh,
you.
that was indeed a big blessing to be welcomed by the university librarian herself. So, and it went with a challenge like this century's challenge of this environment, which is totally virtual. And yes, the librarian today is a catalyst of change. Remember that everyone is an agent of change. So shout out for our viewers, especially those who are like waking up, supposedly it's just the hour for you, but you are here with us. Thank you, Chang. Thank you. And yes, you can watch us on library Facebook page. You've never been there? Check it out. There's a library Facebook page and on the Ask the Library SU YouTube channel. So check it out. We're all live right now. So, and it's exciting extemporaneous speech competition to celebrate the National Book Week. It's really so exciting. So let's get to know the rules. Is there a difference between a virtual and an actual face-to-face extemporaneous speech competition? Not much, but let me read to you this rules that will govern this extemporaneous contest. First, the online extemporaneous speech competition is open to all senior high school and college students of Silliman University, and everyone is represented. It's a good representation actually this afternoon. Second, the competition will happen on live video conference through Zoom or Google Meet. We are on Zoom, right? November 20, today, exactly 1 p.m. we have started. The link will be provided on for those who are still catching up, right? The topic shall be on the spot by the judges, and we have cerebral power right here with our set of judges. And it revolves around the theme libraries as catalysts in the new normal environment, changes, reforms, and transformation. Its participant will be given 15 minutes to prepare for their speech on the spot and will be given 4 minutes to deliver their speech. So now you know how long will it take. Maybe you can prepare your coffee, okay? The style of the delivery shall be conversational, oratorical, or a combination of both. The contestants are expected to follow these guidelines such as proper decorum and proper attire. Yeah, you have to go like real stage presence, okay? Think of that. The judge's decision is final and we have a set that you can truly trust. So the prizes will be as follows. Oh, this is good enough for what I'm calling for, Starbucks coffee or whatever. 1,000 pesos for first prize. And second prize is 750 pesos. Wow, you can go Lazada for that. And 500 pesos with a certificate of recognition for the winners and all the participants. For the criteria, the first criterion has something to do with content. You see, there's a theme to follow and clear organization that will constitute 35%. Delivery, pronunciation, enunciation, and diction, another 35%. Stage presence. Yes, you have to perform like really on stage, so real. Make it feel it, right? Eye contact, virtual eye contact, as I'm doing now, and poise. Yes, pretend like you are a Miss Universe contestant. No, oh, someone is and personality. Oh, wow, that's 30% with a total of 100%. Okay, so there you have it. We are properly guided this afternoon competition, and we are to introduce our dignified men and women who will compose our board of judges. First is this College of Nursing alumnus, graduated cum laude, and currently the chairperson of the 10 Outstanding Student of the Philippines alumni community right in Central Visayas. And wow, service to humanity because he's a frontliner and still on duty. So please give a warm welcome to Felix Mosqueda the third, right here. The handsome, all right, zoom in there. And our next judge is, wow, some kind of homegrown, right? Right here. You a familiar face if you have been to the technical side of the library, you have met him, right? ICT manager of the SU library system, founder of several youth organizations. This should be it. You should not be because you're just a librarian or you look down at yourself, you're just in the library and you don't go beyond. But this guy has proven that a librarian is a catalyst of change beyond this four corners and reaching out to young people, organized several organizations. That's like, and you have heard it, Gabaan Youth Lead doing well, and even leading them to Hibalag Youth Festival and a lot more. Awarded the Parangal ng Bayani as a youth champion of the province of Negros Oriental. Please welcome our very own Ray Dennis Caballero. You know, when we were organizing the Miss Silman pageant, we wanted her to be in it, right? Representing graduate school. But I don't know what happened. That dream candidate was never on stage, right? But we're happy where she was, most outstanding student of the Philippines and all that, just doing. But, you know, a very dedicated teacher, administrator, and yes, a very in-demand speaker, especially now with a lot of webinars and all that. He is the person to run to, okay? Yes, we'll be generous with her number and all the other contacts she need. And sorry, she's taken, right? So she's, and she's currently helped parents and our family owned. We're so proud of this school. ABC Learning Center is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Please welcome our pride, hometown pride, Leia Cicatreyes, our chairperson of the Board of Judges. So there you have it. And now let's start off with, and we'll give you back to God's will to, you know, he's our tech guy, he's in control, right? So you can only be on screen, the contestants, if you know the name God's will. It has to be trusted, right? So only one handsome person. Back to God's will.
Okay, so I guess Mr. Toledo is ready with his topic. But before he proceeds, let me pick the topic for our second speaker, Ms. Calyao. Okay, so your topic is libraries versus the internet.
Okay, sir. Noted, sir.
You
Thank you.
repeat? Libraries versus the internet.
Noted, sir.
Okay, so just a reminder, you're given 4 minutes for your speech, and I will ring the gong at the 3-minute mark, and another ring of the gong at the 4-minute mark, and if it will still exceed, your speech will still exceed 4-minute mark, the 30-second mark, I will ring again the gong. Okay, is that clear to everybody?
Yes,
Okay, so while we are waiting about this celebration, could be so ordinary, but it can be life-changing. And this library has proven that if you journey with books, it will actually lead you to a great success. There's one guy I know, Dr. Badon. Oh, he's like an entomologist. Right? He's an entomologist, Dr. Astor Badon. It was a book in this library that led him to his success. So, yes, a library book can be life changing. So, let's celebrate Book Week with much of this heart, not just for the page, but make it a habit, part of your diet. 200 pages a day, that's a challenge. Okay? So one more minute going. So yeah, think about that. 200 pages a day. I know that you have been into some kind of diet, but please include books as part of your diet. So the challenge is 200 pages a day. With that, I'm sure one day we'll see you on screen as one of the outstanding Filipinos, very much like our judges here. So our first contestant, ladies and gentlemen, right? Please welcome from the College of Mass Communication. Am I right? Right? Jose Fernando Toledo.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. There was this one time where I visited Philemon University Library, and I realized how ironical it is because as I go along and read a single book, my subconscious mind would tell me, fall asleep, go asleep, don't focus. But then as a mass communication student, I realized how important it is to give attention, to give authenticity, reliability, and credibility. And with this, in this current testing and trying situation, it is important to know that we can elect our ways of learning. Ladies and gentlemen, with net neutrality, being it as giving internet service with equal or giving internet service equally, notwithstanding the state that you are in, notwithstanding the status that you have, we promote peace and harmony. We cross our fingers for a community that's wholesome. And that boils down to my first argument. We embrace the beauty of the advent of technology. We young individuals of hope and possibilities, we cross our fingers knowing that we are accessible to different kinds of online information. Especially in this current new normal change, we believe that we have to adapt in this particular scenario. But then again, we have the idea of unison. We have to work with our internet provider. In this country, Philippines, there are tons and tons of complaints because we are given an internet service that isn't fair too much because we are calling for equally service. We are calling for internet that's equal and fair. But then again, ladies and gentlemen, knowing that technology is known to be the backbone of our society and that it has become the blood of our generation, I believe that we have to embrace change. But then again, I suggest that our country, the Philippines, should always strive harder. I know that they are doing their best, but then again, it always boils down to not it doesn't inflict pain if they inject even so much more efforts. Secondly, if we continue to adapt this kind of equally service or internet service, we sustain our learning. Notwithstanding the deprivation that we have, we continue to grow and learn. By learning, we are able to progress. We clamor and we call the call for knowledge is still there. We are completely forgetting that we are a signatory to our rights and convention as a learner. We are completely forgetting that and the right to being treated equally, and the right to being shared with equal service is paramount in this current time. And with that, we cross our fingers to at least do not become illiterate and do not become silent, because we are individuals of hope and we are living in this current scenario wherein words are in need. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it is important for us to sustain our future. We read and we go along as a student. We continue to learn and clamor for knowledge because we do not only focus on what we have today. We cross our fingers for our tomorrow, that we hope that our children would see the stars without the threat of illiteracy, would see the stars without the threat of being uninformed and being left behind. And that's the importance of net neutrality. It always boils down to the idea that it calls for equality and fairness. If we practice this, ladies and gentlemen, if we embrace the beauty of technology, and if we cross our fingers in the idea of sustainability, therefore, and then it is much important to know that we young individuals would have a Philippines that is way better than before, that we are slowly regaining, that we might have lost our hope today, but we are continuously growing. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I end my case. Thank you and God bless.
Jose Fernando Toledo. We're moving on to our next contestant.
He needs to pick.
Yes.
To pick first.
So we'll back to God's will.
Mana siya pick, so comments na.
Right. For some comments on our first contestant. Yeah, let's be generous with it. Feels like American Idol extemporaneous version.
Hello, Jose.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, I really like the point of your talk, especially when you said that here in the Philippines we do have concerns with when it comes to the internet. So I think clearly pointed that out. Actually, when we give our comments, we cannot ask you, we cannot clarify. However, we're just giving you input. First of all, that would be what I would like to say, that I liked that point, especially coming from a young person like you to have that kind of view of democratizing the internet. However, I would have liked to hear a little of the contrast of the other side so that we could drive the point better. But all in all, I liked your confidence and I liked the points that you raised. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts this afternoon.
Thank you as well, ma'am.
I love it. Confidence really works. And so we're ready for our next contestant, God's will.
Pick pa siya.
You have to really know, actually, have you been an extemporaneous contestant yourself? Yeah, it's that establishing a common ground between you and your audience that's very important at the start. So let's call on our next contestant from the Institute of Rehabilitative Sciences, a physical therapy student, Samantha.
I will pick for the third contestant first.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's
for
give
the
time
third,
for our third contestant. Yes.
so I will pick first the topic for third contestant, Miss Tuale. Their topic is civic engagement.
Civic engagement for our third
And
contestant.
that's civic engagement.
So we're ready for our second contestant now, right? Samantha? Physical therapy student.
Only if it's ready.
Samantha.
15 minutes, guys. maybe we're not done with the 15 minutes.
Yeah, if you remember the rules, it's 15 minutes.
If she's ready.
Ready? Okay.
Yeah, that's her.
I'm ready, judges.
It's on the internet. Are are you ready, Samantha? You can begin if you want to start. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, Madam.
Argentine writer Carlos Maria Dominguez once said, and I quote, "To build a library is to create life. It is never just a random collection of books." A good day to one and all. I am Samantha Trace Callao, a representative of Silliman University Institute of Rehabilitative Sciences. And for this afternoon, I will be talking about the library versus the internet. And to be honest with you, I don't see why I should be putting a challenge between the two. Personally, I like physical books, and at the same time, for my own convenience, I like to use my available gadgets in order to access the resources I need for my course. And I believe that not just students, not just teachers, many can relate to this. So before that, I would just like to say that in this world, change is one thing that is constant. And for months, we have been experiencing unexpected shifting of events. And these events have actually made a huge change into the lives of many. Communities are continuously adjusting to their forms, and one of the things that is concerning is the new educational platform used by both teachers and students. And to be honest, this has given rise to various issues in terms of providing and attaining good quality education for all. Despite these trying times in the field of learning, we have catalysts of change in the new normal environment that are making things easier and possible for all of us. And one of this is our beloved and treasured libraries. Private and public libraries are making themselves available in the digital setting, catering those who wish to seek more knowledge and skills in terms of living and learning. And I believe that this is one of the great reasons why both the libraries and internet should go hand in hand in order to help many people, from families to workers to students. Thank you very much.
We give comments, we cannot ask questions. Thank you if anyone has a comment. Thank you so much, Samantha, for
Thank
your,
you.
I believe Kuya Dennis has.
Hi, Samantha.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I I actually can relate to your topic, which is library versus the internet, because I'm inside the library, but I'm not a librarian. But I'm also in the field of ICT. So it's good that you pointed out that you don't need to choose between the internet or the library because it can work together. And I think that that point already drives well to for the topic of library versus the internet. You simply have to maximize the strengths of each to move forward to the 21st century. So with delivery, you're really, really very good. I see that you're very much relaxed in how you delivered your content. And I remember the many times I've joined extemporaneous speaking contests, and it's really very hard to drive a point and also relax so that the audience would feel what's the content of your presentation. So I give you a very good grade for that, for both delivery and of course the content that you've given.
I believe,
Thank you so much, sir.
Has okay, mine just really quickly. It would have been nice if we have a little taste of stats. Maybe a little statistics would have helped, like a little data driven. Especially we're talking about library and uh,
Internet.
and the internet, so we can look at the disparity probably of students using the library compared to Google. So we would have loved stats, but as what Kuya Danny said, given the limited time and you know the kind of format that we have, which extemporaneous, is really unnerving for me as a speaker. That's why I like oratorical, but extemporaneous really is challenging. So I'm happy that you accepted such challenge, and thank you for your thoughts on the matter.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Good job, Samantha.
Thank you.
Okay. So, well, before we call on our third contestant, fourth contestant, back to God's will.
Okay, so I'll be picking for our fourth speaker, Mrs. Micah Eden, CBA. Your topic is social media and attention span. Again, that's social media and attention span.
Right.
Okay, thank you, sir.
It's a very interesting topic that's really very generational now, like how attention span has suffered, right? And so, but before we go to that, here's a challenge, something to do with service, right? From the College of Business Administration, Alexandra Tuale.
Ms. Tuale, if you're ready to begin, you can, but let us know.
Hello po, good afternoon. I'd like to maximize my time.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Right, so while our contestant is still busy, let's talk about one success story right here in the library. There was a work student. His name is Edmond Bendijo. He's one of, yes, like our next contestant. He's also from the College of Business Administration. And he was just a very humble work student up there in the library. And you know what? While he wanted to be a visual artist, there was no visual arts program at the time in Suleiman. So he ended up taking up business. But the library was the refuge. There was so many art books, so many paintings on the wall that somehow planted the dream in his heart. And you know, where is that boy now who journeyed with visual arts within the library? He is now the Goodwill Ambassador of France after winning the international painting competition sponsored by the French Embassy. Yes, Edmond Bendijo is making waves in the world of painting. And it all started with the books here in the library. You should have your own success journey. Yes, there are more stories to tell, but you can message me on that on Facebook also. So shout out to our viewers from Facebook enjoying it, extemporaneous speech contest. You can also learn from them, right? You know, structure it, establish a common ground, think of the outline to project your content, and make a very strong conclusion in relation to your topics. That's how simple it could be. A little drama, of course, to capture your audience. So, and I like the comments for judges, right? They're really helping our contestants, and it's really good to know. So our next contestant actually is a very familiar face. I will not tell you why, but yes, somehow later, probably we can tell you about that. The extemporaneous speech contest is something that we have been doing in this week. And I'm so glad that in spite of the pandemic, the librarians are so alive, full of energy, mounting the National Book Week. Yes, it cannot stop them. And we are here celebrating with them. So, yeah. And we are inside the library. Wow, it's amazing. It's like a miracle to go inside the library. Like, but you have been doing that virtually, and they have been doing it very helpful. All you have to do is email them or contact them on Facebook or on YouTube, and you can actually be helped with access to online materials. And even they email you with those materials that you need for a certain research or topic in your classroom. And the public is actually welcome for this also, because we have two sections in the library that are serving the community. Right now we are in this library that has been established by the World Bank to help communities make development programs. And there are a lot of materials here that you can explore. So celebrating National Book Week with you guys, and we're just so happy. Okay, so we're ready with our next contestant from the College of Business Administration, Alexandra Tuale.
Good afternoon, everyone. Would it be all right to start na po?
Yes, you can, Ms. Tuale.
All right. To our esteemed Board of Judges and our dear audience watching us today, good afternoon. Now, to begin my speech, I'd like to take all of us back to how this day began for many of us. Now, perhaps for those of us who are married, we did not, in the literal sense, wake up alone, or for those of us who are sleeping with our siblings in bed or with our friends in bed. But for many of us, rather, I'd like to say that many of us started this day waking up alone. Now, there is a study that indicates that 61% of people upon waking up check their phones first. And all of a sudden, from waking up alone, we realize we're not alone anymore. We wake up to hashtags like hashtag Typhoon Ulysses, hashtag Rescue PH, and even some other braver, more controversial hashtags like hashtag Nasaan ang Pangulo. Now, ladies and gentlemen, upon waking up a second time, upon seeing all those things, we realize that we are not alone. And in a very big sense, we are all on the same ship. Whether this ship be climate change or COVID-19, we realize that we are not alone and we are on the same ship. And quite frighteningly, sometimes we realize that if we don't wake up and if we continue to stay blind, we realize that this ship is actually sinking. Now, from the first few minutes that we've woken up, I'd just like to share that in that cycle, that is what civic engagement is. Now, you might ask, how is civic engagement helpful, and how can you consider retweeting and sharing and liking and adding it to your story, doing your part? Now, in the simplest way I know possible to explain this, I want to say that like us who are now quote unquote awake a second time to the truth of the world and to the truth of things that are happening, it is our responsibility to make sure that others are not asleep and in fact awake to the facts of the world. And like a wise man once said, we are not obligated to complete the work, but we are not allowed to abandon it. Ladies and gentlemen, by doing our simple part in sharing, commenting, and liking current events, making sure that the people on our timeline are, like I said, not asleep and awake to these facts, we are in turn doing our part. Now, many people might argue that things like these are not effective, but in fact, civic engagement has been proven to give people a sense of purpose, a sense of an answer to the question, why am I here? What is the significance of my role? And to combat, and it is worth noting, I believe that because of COVID-19, a lot of us are going through existential crises and doubting our role in the world even, because many of our previous roles are now gone. Civic engagement, especially online, is one of the ways that we are most able to, like I said, do our part. Now, to conclude my piece for this afternoon, I'd like to ask all of you this question. Now we know what civic engagement is, and maybe we've realized that all along we've been taking part in it. And if you haven't taken your part in it today, I invite you to maybe check out the local news or ask a good friend you can depend on to know what's going on. And if you haven't, if you feel like you haven't truly woken up yet, then I hope you do. And that we don't stay asleep because, like I said, this ship is sinking. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tuale. Once again, as a reminder to the judges, we cannot ask, we cannot clarify, we can only give comments. Thank you. I believe our first judge to give this comment would be Mr. Mosqueda.
Hi, Alex. Good afternoon,
Good
everyone.
afternoon, sir.
Yeah, first, I'd like to congratulate you for a very beautiful speech. And honestly, I love how you started it and how you ended it. Like, how you highlighted civic engagement should not be limited to doing relief good operations on the ground, but by merely sharing and participating in discussions on social media is actually civic engagement. And for that, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just one rejoinder, no. If you guys have Netflix, there's a movie called Expendables 3 that's showing. It's not anything that's connected to the library, but what I liked about it was there's a disparity between, well, my generation and the millennial generation and how they approach, I guess, their mission. But I like that, Alex, and there's a connection to this because I see very clearly how you guys view civic engagement at this point of time. And a lot of people think, oh, it's just Twitter, oh, it's just Instagram, oh, it's just Facebook, but it's actually very powerful and it galvanizes people to action. So thank you for pointing out that is the power of social media, and the youth have so much power in making a difference. And I guess just one point that I would have wanted to be added would be action, because saying these things on social media is one thing, but really applying it into action is another thing. But the way you put it, as what Felix said, the manner, the method of it, and of course the content was also really good. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so there you have it. The call, not just from our contestant, but actually from the library, because you have to be updated on what's going on. Read the news. Yes, that's what book celebration is all about. It's not just a book, but it's all about reading. So here we go. Let's give this back to God's will for us to know what's the topic for our next contestant.
I'm sorry. Sir?
Okay, so the topic for our fifth speaker, Beatrice Merquita. Digital content versus printed. Again, that's digital content versus printed.
I like that topic.
Thank
a lot
you very
of
much.
issues. Some very traditional beings are still really wanting to open a book and look into every page and smell it and all that, right? And against online, they just cannot give up the old tradition. So let's see what that speaker would give us later. So we are now ready for our next contestant, Micah Edem of the College of Business Administration.
Thank you, sir.
Proceed.
Can I start anytime? Okay. Accessibility, benevolence, and community. These are three things that is the component of a library that will make it a catalyst for change in the new normal environment. First, on accessibility. To be honest, our generation has a very short attention span and we're very hooked up with social media. And the adaptation of the library into becoming more than just the mere four walls of a building and expanding the horizon to a limitless horizon because of the online platforms in this new normal makes it easier for them to reach out to teens, to reach out to students who have very short attention spans. These online platforms such as the OPAC, the e-journals, and the digitized records is a good way in order to reach a wider audience in this new normal environment. And that is very important because this will lead me to my second point on benevolence. It's important to not only share information and knowledge, which is the libraries at cradle of information and melting pot of ideas. But more than that, we have to showcase empathy, compassion in order to reach our generation, which is the future leaders of our society. And we do this by reaching, but not only because of the accessibility, because we have expanded and you will be able to access the online library wherever you are and whatever you do. But we also have the social media to go with this. And in partnership with the social media and the library, that's when we can do creative and collective action in order to move forward, such as bringing up our voices because of the right information we learned from the library, or putting up donation drives because we know that the climate crisis is real and the health protocols that we have to adhere to. And this is something that we have to cater as a society. Because in also under benevolence, the library should be an ambassador of goodwill in this new normal environment, in hand with the power of social media. And third, on community. In order to encourage a strong sense of community, we have to partner with educators, teachers, community leaders, government officials, and individuals. We can see this in the recent global pandemic that we are facing and the typhoons and national calamities that our country is facing. We have seen how important scientifically backed plans are, and in order to us to become a proactive society more than a reactive society, wherein we have a strong blueprint of disaster risk management, of health protocols, of healthcare. And that's why online databases in the library in this new normal environment proves to us how important Project NOAA is, which is an online database wherein we will be able to gain scientific knowledge and information which will protect our citizens from typhoons and from calamities. And this is the importance of partnering with the government, with community leaders, and with the youth sector as well. Because in this change, as we adapt to the new normal, as we transform, push for change and reform, we have to have knowledge and information. And this knowledge and information is found in the library. And that is why it's the catalyst for change in this new normal environment. So we have to partner with the library. And that's why it's important that, that we brought this into light today for accessibility, benevolence, and a strong sense of community. That's A, B, C. Thank you and good afternoon, judges, and to everyone watching.
Comment.
I didn't even think about that. Micah, thank you. Thank you for your speech. It's very deep. I liked your ABC, not because it's the name of my parents' school, but but I like the message behind it. I like that that you pivoted a bit and really focused on the power of the library. And I feel that sometimes the essence of the library is lost because of the digital age, so to speak. But you pointed out a lot of things that make the library still current and still needed in society. I would have liked, though, that we could have focused a little more on the attention span bit, and how social media has affected the length of attention span of especially students your age, and how this has been affected because of how quick and how fast we get information from social media. But I do get the point that you connected it with the fact that you get the information that you need really from the library, because in social media you get lost with a lot of sources that you really don't know which is genuine from which is not. So I do get the point, but I would have liked if we focused more on the topic, which is social media and attention span. But again, I appreciate the depth of what you just shared with us, and I do hope that the ones who are watching us right now will also see the library as how you see it, as the ABC. Ayan. Sorry, Siliman.
Okay.
No, I love Siliman.
We all start with ABC.
Yeah, it didn't come from me.
Okay.
Anyone of the judges?
Yes. So there you have it. That's another sash for the library. The chief librarian is calling you librarians to be agent of change. Now Micah is giving you another sash, goodwill ambassador. Okay, so wow, a lot of roles to play. And so let's check out what's the topic for our second to the last contestant. Okay, from God's will.
Okay, for our sixth contestant, Mayumi Marie Maguyop of Kapva. Their topic is censorship. Okay, that's censorship.
Oh, it's freedom of expression, censorship, really very relevant. So we're ready for our next contestant. Okay, from the Institute of Rehabilitative Sciences, a physical therapy student, Beatrice Marqueta.
Marquita. Miss Marquita, if you want to begin, you can begin, but you still have how many minutes? You still have 8 minutes though before you can start. But if you're ready, you can start.
Thank you for that, ma'am. I'd like to utilize a little more time. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's talk about your Being Goodwill ambassador. I thought only like beauty title holders will get to do that. But now we realize that even librarians have to be Goodwill ambassadors. You know, it's all about public relations. And talking about short attention span, that's actually a problem, especially as among teachers. Very short attention span among our millennials, not just them, but then generation next. I think it's, according to studies, it's only 5 minutes average attention span. And that's why if you make a poster, since the attention span is only 5 seconds, like you have to deliver the message right there, okay, at that point. So like so many things to do in a very small time, but that's what it's all about. Okay, so is Beatrice ready for?
Miss Marquita, how many?
Okay, probably still working on an outline, right? It's important that you outline yourself. She's ready. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be ready in a few seconds.
No, you still
All right.
have 6 minutes. You still have 6 minutes.
All right. So I like the few seconds. We're talking about 5 seconds attention span, right?
Yeah, it's very relevant to
that. What can you do within 5 seconds? No, actually, the average, according to studies, 5 minutes among our young people today. So if you're a teacher, work on that 5 minutes attention span, right? And consider the physical requirement, because not everyone is ready to listen to you and really pay attention, okay? But the library can help you, even if you're like sleepy at this time, especially those who are still observing siesta. Can you afford siesta nowadays, right? It's like siesta 24 hours now, right? So, but 5 minutes attention span, you really have to work on it. Like read the right book so you can go beyond 5 minutes, right? It's actually a matter of choice. Choosing the right material so you can go beyond 5 minutes. Okay, so.
I think I'm ready.
Okay,
Are you ready?
our contestant is ready,
Yes,
ladies
I'm
and
ready.
gentlemen. Beatrice,
Okay.
physical therapy student. Big round of applause, please.
The new normal is an avenue for us to reform the system that was once effective in the past. Now, the only way to live in the present is to be open for change because we are in a state of a normal that is currently new. Good afternoon to our esteemed judges, our ever competent librarians, and to the rest of the people in this Zoom call. I am Beatrice Marquita from the Institute of Rehabilitative Sciences, talking today about digital content versus printed content. I will be summarizing up my points in the word ice. Ice as in the one that's ice cubes, cold. And I'll be giving advantages and disadvantages for each. First would be the advantages of printed content. And it is something felt. It's tactile, the sense of touch you could feel. I don't know if it's just me or if it's everybody else, but there is something unique about getting handmade letters personally given to you in paper form rather than the ones emailed or messaged in chat. There is just a personal connection if you can feel something by sense of touch. Next, C. It could spark up attention. Remember, say you're in a car in the middle of traffic and then suddenly a huge big billboard over there comes up with a great ad about the latest trends or the latest information that, of course, curious minds would spark up conversation and would talk about it in their cars, and then it would spark conversation, and it's a good topic starter. But then, one disadvantage of this is that it is easily damaged by natural factors. Let's say when it gets wet, the rain, or sometimes if the printer isn't of high quality, it couldn't much be read. Or, for instance, the poster is placed there too long, and then you can't see because of the really small text, which leads us to digital content. And I'll be explaining again in ICE. I, immediate sharing. One digital content posted in social media and shared by multiple users in the internet is a very fast way to spread information, infographics, and the like. It is easy and really quickly done. Next, C, it is easily customizable, meaning you made an error in your digital content. You don't have to go to the place, scrap it off, print it again. All you have to do is delete the post or comment edit, and then have your edits in there, and the post is good as new. And lastly, E, expanded network because of the internet. In short, as long as there's an internet connection, everything is set and everything's where to go. However, the catch is we cannot choose only one between digital and printed content. Why? Because not everyone has the luxury of an internet connection and not everyone has the gadget to do those things. Especially here in the Philippines, we are a third world country. Some people cannot even afford to buy their gadgets. That's why we should have a mixture of both printed and digital content. We are very thankful for the Silliman University Library because they offer us a mixture of both. We have books in the library that are very well written and are very well stored that we could access anytime and we could touch. At the same time, they're offering digital links for us to see and for us to read. I am very proud of the Library of Silliman University for offering us online alternatives for everything. So it's a kudos for the library for a job well done. I would just like to highlight that the main reason why we have to mix both printed and digital content is because the goal is to communicate effectively and to disseminate information. And to effectively communicate and disseminate information, we need not to discriminate on those only who have gadgets or only those who can do print. We need a mixture of both because in the end, change is important and we are open for change and we are doing everything we can to mix two to make it the best. That would be all for my points. Thank you very much and Godspeed.
Right, so time for us to listen to our judges.
Thank you so much, Kuya Mo. Thank you so much, Ms. Marquita. Again, to the judges, we cannot ask, we cannot clarify, we can only give comments. Who would like to go first? Kuya Dan?
Hello, good afternoon, Marquita.
Yes.
Yeah, Marquita.
Good afternoon.
Actually, I did not catch up with the ICE acronym for both for and against. I also both what was that? Printed and digital content. But if we were part of the jury, I think I have the impression that you've convinced us to go for either. And the good thing about this is you compared, then you also put out the point at the end that we need to use both or blended either digital or printed. One thing that struck me in the first part of ICE was, of course, the printed, the feeling of reading printed materials is really, really different when you're scrolling a PDF or reading your emails. And the second part, in the second part, what struck me was about it's customizable, and this is really a good point for each of the comparison you did. But with the blended part, yes, I was so impressed in how you put the things two things together. And as I've said, either way, if you really wanted to convince us for either digital or printed, you could have easily convinced us because of how you delivered the content and how you pointed out each of its good things and of course the positive advantages of it.
Thank you so much, Kuya Dennis. I believe Mr. Mosqueda has his.
Hi, Marquita. Good afternoon. Congratulations.
Good afternoon, sir.
But yeah, I'd like
Thank you so much.
Okay. Um, I think the congratulations for you have presented your thoughts very well. I think the topic is also very relatable nowadays with the kind of education that we are doing. But should it be really purely digital or should it be modular, distance learning? I think that with that, give a perfect example of what kind of educational system that we have in the Philippines, and highlighting that not all can afford digital and that some people also would like it to be printed. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Kuya Felix too. Sorry. Judge neutral. Anyway, what I wanted to say is, since we're talking about content, Ms. Marquita, I would have wanted that you talked a little bit, kahit a little bit lang of, just being careful about what we read because of the proliferation of fake news. But overall, I saw the structure of how you were what's this? How you structured your speech. It was very clear, and how you ended it. So I really liked the method. I liked your message. I would have liked, as I said, a little touch on just be careful with fake news, and you have to be really critical minded, whether it's digital content or printed. So thank you so much, Ms. Marquita.
Thank you, ma'am.
So good, crystal clear like ice. Okay. So we'll give this back now to Godswill to find out what's the topic for our next contestant.
Okay, for our last contestant, is he with us? Mr. Dalton Glova. Please unmute if you're here.
Yes, sir, I am
Okay.
present.
Okay. So the last topic, which is your topic, it's reading at risk. Again, that's reading at risk. Yeah. Reading.
You can clarify through chat. Okay, so is our next contestant? I like her name, right? Her name somehow connotes she's like the goddess of the wind, Mayumi Maguyo, right? So, all right, so is she ready now?
Ms.
Hi,
Maguyo,
hi. May I know how many minutes I have left?
how many minutes does she have left? You have 5 minutes, Ms. Maguyo.
May I take the remaining time to just clarify some things in my speech?
You said you'd like to use your 5 minutes?
Yes, please.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, so take your time. So um, as I was saying, I love her name, Mayumi Maghuyo, very Filipino, and that should be the name of the goddess of the wind, right? So,
Sir, I'd really
So-
like to say that, with extemporaneous, it's really not for the faint-hearted.
yes,
So I'd like to congratulate
them, yes,
for
very spontaneous.
when
I'd
I
love
was
to-
their age, I wouldn't have had the courage to do extemporaneous.
And this is how reading will help you,
Yes.
reading will help you because, if you have stock knowledge, easy for you to go spontaneous with
Yes.
your thoughts. And only reading can help you with that. Load it up, okay? It should not remain a tabula rasa there,
Kuya Mo,
okay?
let me point out that these are thoughts and wisdom coming from 3 generations. Leia, we're 1 generation. I think Godswill and Felix are in 1 generation. I think you're the
I'm like the godfather here.
himself.
All right, so,
Thanks for
Right.
pointing that out. Kuya.
right, thank you for pointing that out. But age doesn't really matter because in the digital world, everyone is interconnected.
Ano, sir, age neutrality.
And yeah, and there's freedom to access of material, and it's all about agelessness. Okay, so so there you have it. So our next contestant actually, okay, is from the College of Performing Arts. Okay, and it's good to have a representation from the College of Performing Arts because aside from music, they have theater there, a program on theater, and a speech program for the general population. So this is actually very important for them. This experience would somehow help them. Joining extemporaneous speech contests will help you build that confidence you need for a job interview in the future. So if I were you, grab every opportunity. I'm sure that the library will still do this next school year, right? Another extemporaneous speech contest or other opportunities. There will be a lot. There's a storytelling contest. Check out their website, the library. You can join that too, right? The storytelling contest. So shout out for our viewers on YouTube. And yes, the library is serving you online through YouTube and Facebook and even through email. So, okay,
1 minute.
I think our contestant is now ready.
Yes, she is. She just.
Please welcome from the College of Performing Arts, Mayumi Mari Maghuyo.
Thank you. So, censorship. What is censorship? Censorship is defined as the suppression or prohibition of any parts considered unacceptable. Just before this competition, I was scrolling through Facebook. I was looking at this, just trying to get my mind off the anxiety that comes with joining competitions. And I saw this one post about a new art installation. It was an art installation by this Mexican artist. His name is Jorge Mendez Blake. And he had this art in a book underneath this large wall of solid brick. It was such an important reminder for me because I realized that by putting that book under, it created a ripple, a shape in the wall. It created dents and cracks there too. And it just so happened that I realized that being one person who is aware is enough to shatter a solid brick wall. So when we talk about censorship, personally, I find that it's outdated. I think it's outdated in a plethora of ways. One being that right now, the world is going through so much. Nationally, internationally, there's so much news about politics, about the environment, about COVID. If we were to really solve issues, people should know what they're dealing with. They should know the whole truth. And sometimes the whole truth is ugly. But that's the point. It's the truth. Being aware of everything, good and bad, prepares us to make decisions that will actually create good changes in the world. I think that it's even more important that our generation understands that things shouldn't be censored anymore. We should have the courage it takes to face the music because, let's face it, my generation, our generation, is tomorrow. And I think that more than ever now in this scary time with COVID still there, with traffic rules and with everything still changing, us trying to adapt to the new normal, we should know about what's going on because it's the least that we deserve. Censorship keeps us from things, and we don't need that right now. We live in a time of uncertainty and fear. But if we know what we are facing, that fear dissipates. And if you think about it, basic problem solving requires you to understand what you're facing first. So, if you think about it, I don't think that censorship should still exist because even if when you think about it, like look at like libraries and the internet, they provide us with the information. Whether or not it's censored, we should take it because we need to understand as much as we can. Linking it back to what I said in the beginning about that art installation, one book can dislocate 1,000 bricks. One person who is aware of the truth can help to change the mindset of 1,000 more. And that is why censorship is outdated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Maghuyo. As a reminder again to the judges, we cannot ask, we cannot clarify, just give comments. Anyone? You have? Okay, I'd like to start. I'm all for democratizing information, and I like that you are at the forefront of it. I feel that information should be free for all. But my take would be, I would have liked if you could have commented a bit on the latest, I don't know if you call it innovation, but with Twitter and Facebook, they kind of give you some sort of warning before you can open a post if your post is the information that you're posting, especially if you're, for example, the president of the United States, if the information that you're about to post is challenged by facts, for example, then they kind of say, okay, this content might not be, it's challenged. So in a way, it's a form of censorship. So I would have wanted to know your thoughts on the matter. In fact, I guess earlier this week, the Mark Zuckerberg, was it for Facebook? Si Kuya Mark. He had to really discuss about sponsorship because there was one, Steve Bannon, and I don't want to go through the politics of it, called for something about Dr. Fauci, and Facebook flagged it, removed it, and basically banned him. So again, that is another form of censorship rather. And I would have wanted your thoughts on the matter, but it's fine. It's okay. I like your stand, and I look forward to what the other judges think. So thank you so much, Ms. Maghuyo, for your input on censorship and the democracy of information. If the judges have other thoughts on the matter, please share. We're good. Thank you so much, Ms. Maghuyo. We appreciate your thoughts and your time.
Right, that was a very brave stand for a performing artist, right? You know, sometimes they battle with censorship when it comes to freedom of expression, especially for visual artists and other artistic expressions that could be disturbing, and yet it requires a lot of freedom. In film, censorship is always a battle. So there you have it. Thank you for enlightening us. So we will now check on our last contestant if he's ready. Dalton Globa, I know it's what time is it in the United States right now?
It's about 1 a.m.
It's 1 a.m., right?
Yeah, I'm running off
Somebody
some coffee
is
right
joining
now.
us all the way from the US, and it's 1 a.m. there. So waking up for this contest. Wow, that's how powerful the library is, right? Like, so
How many minutes does Mr.
Right. So
I would like to have about 2 minutes. How much time do I have left?
I'm sorry, cannot hear. Sorry. What was that again?
How much time do I have left?
You have 8 minutes. You can start earlier, or if you want to consume the 8 minutes for prep, it's fine.
Okay, I will have at least maybe 3 minutes, if that's okay.
Of course it is.
So asking for 3 minutes, and that's shorter than the average attention span of our young people today. And for basketball, that's a bit longer. Last 2 minutes, you can do a lot with that, right? And even lead your team to championship. So don't despair that you are the last contestant, right? College of Arts and Sciences is represented this afternoon, and we're so happy for that, okay? So is there an age factor here? How come there is no College of Law and there is no graduate school, right? All right, so, but it was open for all colleges actually. So, but we're so glad, almost like this is a good representation this afternoon, and 7 contestants is long enough for this competition, right? So we're so glad you're taking time out. The whole world is actually awake to be with the celebration of the library. This is the 86th National Book Week celebration, and we're just so happy we are doing this virtually to serve you, and a lot of things to do virtually, but you are with us, and we're so happy for your presence this afternoon. It's a beautiful afternoon here at the Robert B. and Meta J. Silliman Library, right here in our very own campus by the sea. So we are going to have our last contestant soon from the College of Arts and Sciences. So speaking all the way from the United States, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning there. Wow. So, but it's that, but actually a lot of young people now are still awake at 1 o'clock. So they're just happy. They're just happy to do something relevant and not just watching something on screen. This time they're really the one performing, right, at 1 a.m. Okay, so the rest of the world, wherever you are and on what time zone you are, thank you for being with us in this very pleasant afternoon. Okay, so
all right,
we have 26 viewers on Facebook. Hello, 26 people on Facebook. We're so happy you're there. Okay. And by the way, for those who are not yet here with us, this will be recorded, and you can view it anytime, right? So it's that, but yeah, it's just because it's class hour. Some are battling with exams, preparing for long exams, and our others are actually in the classroom. And so, yes, but we are, can we say advanced fiesta to Dumaguete? Yes, November 24, 25, it's declared holiday for Dumaguete. So, is that official now? 24 and 25 holiday, right? It's a holiday. It's celebrating Fiesta of Dumaguete, right? So no virtual event. I think they have a virtual Sandurot. Okay, so let's look forward to that. Yes, if you are aware, through the library you will know what's going on in the world. So I think our contestant from the College of Arts and Sciences is now ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
Mr. Dalton, you still have 3 minutes. You still have 3 minutes.
I'm ready.
He's ready? Okay. All right.
Camera.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, from the College of Arts and Sciences, Dalton Global. Big round.
Yep, 1 a.m. All right. So can I just start or?
Yes, you may. Yes, you may begin.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening from wherever you are around the world. My name is Dalton Glova, and I am from the College of Arts and Science. I am a bio student in Silliman University, and I'm here to present you from all the way across the world in America, 1 a.m. my time. So, reading at risk. Is it really at risk? Well, let's see what it says. So, according to a survey, 65% of Americans prefer to read print books. But we have to understand that 370 million people in America, most of those people are adults, and adults love to read. The thing is, the young children. The children are the future of the generation, and their skills, especially in reading, are very essential to this day and age. Not only does that encounter other problems in the future generation with reading, it also is a very big implication of what's up to come. So the attention span, actually, Kuyamo, the attention span of someone is 12 seconds, fully focused. 12 seconds of full attention is the average human attention span. The average attention span for a goldfish is 8 seconds. Now, what is that? Why? Why does that matter? And how come that's the case? Well, if we look at our day and age today, we live in a very digital society where the digital world is filled with so much content, so much new notifications here and there, blah, blah, blah. You're always bombarded with so much information. You don't have time to read every single detail, to look at every single notification. Have you ever scrolled down your Facebook or Twitter and looked and read a full article? No. Twitter, for example, if there's a news article, you read only the bare minimum, the caption. Whatever it says there, you just believe. You don't even delve into it. You don't look at the details, whether or not it's even a fake news article. And that's the problem with reading and why it's at risk, because we don't have time to read. We don't have the attention to read. We don't have the strength to read. Social media is bombarding us with all this information, and we cannot attain it, and we cannot retain all the information. Your brain is just like your body. What you feed your body, it becomes healthy. If you feed it vegetables, it will be healthy, stronger, immune to more viruses such as COVID. But if you feed your brain social media, that is equivalent to feeding your brain junk food. Social media is the junk food of your brain. As we learn to progress with this digital society, we learn to pay attention less. We don't have time to delve in a book and to read every single detail. Why? Because we rather look at YouTube. We rather scroll through Instagram, looking through memes. And we don't have time to read anymore. We don't have time to sit down and just fully compose ourselves in a book. And our attention energy is decreasing because of that. We rather watch a 3-minute YouTube video on someone doing some dumb stuff and laugh at it than to just sit down and read a book about how to improve yourself, how to communicate with people, how to be a leader, because we want instant gratification. We want something fast. We want something new every single time. We don't have time to sit down. Reading is at risk, and that is why social media is the protagonist, is the antagonist of this whole situation in reading, and we need to do something about it. We need to reverse it. We need to go back to just sitting down and retain information, and to sit down and just relax and maybe learn something instead of quick, instant, and happy. Quick happy. We like the quick happy. We don't like the long happy. We need to set ourselves aside and just to step back and maybe go to the traditional ways, the ways that we're meant to be. Thank you. And make sure you read a book.
Right, for everyone out there, young people. So let's listen to our judges now on their feedback on this last contestant we have, Dalton Global of the College of Arts and Sciences.
Hello, Mr. Glova. Again, I'd like to remind the judges we can only give comments. We cannot clarify, we cannot ask. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Glova, for your time. Like literally, you're up while you're supposed to be asleep, so thank you. I'd say I'm very impressed with the fact that you brought up a lot of points that I feel would, I guess, deviate from the norm, so to speak, among students of your generation. You talk about social media being the antagonist if you're not careful about the information that you that you choose to absorb. You're talking about sitting down and reading, because that's what reading is all about. You set aside time to slow down, to read. And I like that. I like the fact that a young person like you sees that and understands that and would like to influence his peers to do the same. So thank you for those thoughts. I would have wanted, since your idea, the first part of it, you were really talking about why reading is at risk, and it really makes sense. And I would have wanted that you could have continued and discussed other things, specifically on how you can motivate students, young people like you to pick up a book and read. That for me would be also interesting to know from you. But thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any other comment from our judges?
I have.
Yes, Kuya Dennis.
Hi, Dalton. Good morning from where you are. Thank you for joining us.
Hello from the other side.
Yeah, thank you for joining us here. It's an afternoon, of course. While you were speaking, I was imagining the generation of ours years ago, of course, decades ago, where we did not have that much of information to really dive into it and learn from it. And with the thing that you contrasted it with the current generation of the digital information, where it's really difficult to choose from among the knowledge that is presented to us. Yeah, I know how it feels when you're in Twitter, when even a single word of a single tweet, you can't even grasp to what that means, because there's another post you need to read. So that in itself, what you've talked about reading at risk is really a different way of saying it as a reading at risk. I always thought reading at risk was more on the idea of reading at your own risk, meaning there's a lot of risky information for you to, more on the censorship part, or more on the what is proper or appropriate for a certain age bracket. But you open up another aspect to it, which is the real meaning of reading at risk, where we really need to be the ambassadors of helping the new generation appreciate reading, especially more on focused reading. I'd like to call it that way, focused reading. So thank you for your thoughts.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so much.
that was so refreshing to hear a young person talking about social media as a possible toxic element to who you are today as young people. So we're celebrating National Book Week, and so we're encouraging everyone to heed the call of our contestants this afternoon, and very impressive performance. I'm sure that our judges will have a very difficult time in choosing the winner. For I was listening to all of them, and they all can possibly win this, right? Very good content and a lot of new insights, giving us a new perspective. And congratulations to the organizers. I like the topics this afternoon, very relevant to this generation. So thank you to the Silliman University Library family, the digital power of the university today. So congratulations for your celebration of the 86. So do we have certificates to present?
Yes.
Sir,
Right?
have you ranked
Are the certificates ready to present?
para igualdad?
To be presented to our participants?
Ay, kaya na. Ako na lang. Kaya mabisita.
Oh, so we have the citation here. Right. So we present our certificate of appreciation to our Board of Judges first, right? The certificate is presented to Ray Dennis B. Caballero, for being judged during the online extemporaneous speech competition held in Suleiman Library on the 20th of November 2020, signed by the University Librarian, Myra E. Villanueva. So thank you, Dennis. Thank you for your time. Still working at it. Our next judge, yes, big round of applause, right? Next certificate of appreciation is for Felix III here. Thank you, Mr. Mosqueda, for sharing your time as judge during the online same citation for you and signed by Dr. Myra Villanueva, our university librarian. And finally, to the chairperson of our board of judges, we have here the beautiful Leia Sicat Reyes. Thank you for your time. Same citation for you. And we appreciate your presence here. The Suleiman University family is welcoming our alumni for this event this afternoon, and we're so happy they're here. And yes, to our audience on Facebook and our YouTube followers, thank you for being with us. Okay, and we also have certificates for our participants. All right, but it will be sent to you through email. All right, so yes, so okay, our judges are still busy deliberating, right?
We're done.
Can I announce something for the community tomorrow? Right? There's a plant right here beside me, and I want you to know tomorrow is Plantita Day for all Suleimanians, right? The alumni of Dumaguete is going to have, yes, we're going to have a plant sale right there at the gate of service along Rizal Boulevard. Be there, right? Because proceeds of the plant sale will go to the completion of our University Heritage Museum.
Grace, I have a question.
Yes, you have a question?
I'm a plantito myself.
Oh, you are a plantito.
They can bring a donation, a plant donation? Also?
Yes, you can bring plant donations and you can buy and you can donate a plant or buy a plant, and it will help our University Heritage Museum. So that's a call, and please read a book, because reading will really help you with your future. It will help define your future. So we now have the results, okay? Tech people, be ready with the pictures of those who win, right? Okay, so, and the results. Are we ready to announce? Is there other things to announce?
No, sir, if my handwriting is
okay. So yeah, it's okay. It's clear.
I'll be getting the phone.
So we are now going to announce the winners. Our third place winners. By the way, all of you are so good, and we're so proud of you. You're all deserving. Okay? They say that to win is not always success, and to lose is not always failure. But for me this afternoon, they're all a portrait of success, right? And a great part of the celebration of the National Book Week, Book Month. All right. So our third placer is from the College of Business Administration, Alexandra Tuale, third place. Right, congratulations. Okay. All right, wave there, Alexandra. Okay. And then, there, congratulations. Third place.
civic engagement.
Civic engagement.
Right, so National Book Week. And we have the second placer from the College of Arts and Sciences and all the way from the United States, Dalton Globa, second place. Right? Still awake?
Still there?
Congratulations. Congratulations, second place there. All right. And is she the one who shared with us the ice?
Yes.
Right, ice. So crystal clear as ice. Right, our first place is from the Institute of Rehabilitative Sciences, a physical therapy student, Beatriz Marqueta. Oh, Beatriz. You know, they're all good looking as our judges. So, congratulations to the winners and congratulations to the Philippine University Library for this success. Congratulations, everyone. It's my pleasure being with you this afternoon. And so we now have, every program should have an ending, right? And we don't wish for this to end. So for our closing remarks, ladies and gentlemen, we will now listen to this beautiful librarian. Okay, Mom Rose, take it away.
Of the Reader Services. So, Assistant Professor Rosalina G. Pinoy. Big round of
On behalf of Silliman University Library System, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all of you who participated in this event. Thank you so much to Silliman University students, to the Board of Judges, Ma'am Leia Sicat Reyes, Sir Felix Mosqueda, and to our very own Sir Caballero, as well as to our very energetic MC Kuya Mo. We valued and appreciated to all who are present today. Again, thank you to each and everyone. White sands and the coral is the darkness of the sea. Thank you.
86th National Book Week celebration right here at the Robert B. and Martha J. Silliman Library.
Thank you.
Elmar, picture sa may kumpat na ini. Kuya mo, join us ha.
Your certificate.
Oh, wow. But how is there some
Uy, paapil ako.